In the city that never sleeps, a brazen robbery shook the very foundation of its fast food culture. Imagine, if you will, the pulsating energy of New York, the city with its towering skyline teeming with life and bustling activity. The streets, a symphony of honking taxis, chattering crowds, and the occasional siren echoing in the distance. Amidst this cacophony, nestled between skyscrapers, stands a familiar sight, a beacon of comfort food, a Burger King outlet. It was a day like any other, the sun casting long shadows over the city, the air filled with the aroma of grilling patties and freshly baked buns. The staff, donning their signature uniforms, served the stream of customers that flowed in and out. The atmosphere, one of casual familiarity, with the chatter of patrons and the sizzle of the grill playing a harmonious tune. It was a snapshot of quintessential New York life, a testament to the city's love for fast food. Regulars shuffled in, greeted by the familiar employees. Tourists, drawn in by the emblematic Burger King sign, marveled at the speed and efficiency. The morning rush gradually gave way to the afternoon lull, the brief respite before the evening crowd descended. The ebb and flow of the day, as predictable as the city's rhythm itself. But beneath this veneer of normalcy, something was amiss, a sense of unease slowly creeping in. Like a cloud casting a shadow over the city, an air of anticipation, as if the city held its breath, bracing itself for the unexpected. But little did anyone know, the day was about to take a dramatic turn. An ordinary day in the life of a Burger King employee was about to become a headline. Just another bustling day in the heart of New York, the city that never sleeps. The sizzle of the grills, the clatter of trays, the chatter of customers, just another symphony of a fast food joint. But that day, the rhythm was about to be broken. Unbeknownst to the employees, a group of individuals sauntered into the establishment. Their casual demeanor masked their nefarious intentions. They were not there for the Whoppers or the fries. They were there for something far more valuable. The interaction between the intruders and the employees started off innocuously enough. Orders were placed, money was exchanged, but then the atmosphere changed. The temperature in the room seemed to drop as the criminals revealed their true intentions. The shock and disbelief were palpable. The everyday hustle and bustle of the eatery came to a grinding halt. Fear replaced the usual hum of activity. The staff, caught off guard, complied with the demands, their hands trembling as they handed over the day's earnings. The criminals' identities remained a mystery, their faces concealed, their voices distorted. Even their movements were calculated, leaving behind no obvious clues. They were professionals, executing a plan with cold, calculated precision. And then, just as swiftly as they had arrived, they were gone. In a matter of minutes, they had slipped away into the teeming New York crowd, leaving behind a scene of chaos and fear. The once lively Burger King, now a crime scene. In a matter of minutes, the criminals had left, leaving behind a scene of chaos and fear. As the dust settled, the daunting task of piecing together the puzzle began. A crime scene at a fast food joint might seem mundane, but the smallest detail might hold the key to unraveling the truth. So in the hushed aftermath of the crime, the first responders arrived, their sirens painting the night with a warning of blue and red. The police, seasoned professionals well-versed in navigating the chaotic aftermath of such events, immediately set to work. The crime scene was cordoned off with the familiar yellow tape, a silent sentinel warding off the curious onlookers and protecting the sanctity of the scene. A preliminary sweep was conducted, a meticulous search for any pieces of the puzzle that might help them in their quest for justice. Among the discarded wrappers and abandoned meals, they found what they were looking for. Clues, a dropped wallet, a forgotten cell phone, the faint trace of a unique cologne. Each seemingly insignificant item, a potential treasure trove of information. But the investigation didn't stop there. Eyewitness accounts were crucial, each person present at the time of the crime possessing a unique perspective. From the terrified cashier to the unsuspecting customers, each recollection added another layer to the narrative. Some remembered the assailants' clothing, others their voices, and a few even claimed to recognize their faces. The final piece of the puzzle lay in the grainy footage from the CCTV cameras. Every movement, every interaction captured in stark black and white. The investigators pored over the footage, their eyes trained to spot the subtlest of cues that might lead them to the culprits. This was the beginning of a painstaking process, an intricate dance of deduction and intuition. The clock was ticking, the pressure mounting. The city was on edge, its sense of security shaken to the core. The people of New York needed answers. They needed justice. With the city in shock, the race was on to catch those responsible. Every second counted, every lead mattered. The game of cat and mouse had begun. In a city of millions, finding the needle in the haystack was no easy task. The vast metropolis of New York, filled to the brim with bustling life and unending chaos, became the investigators' most formidable challenge. The hunt for the culprits was akin to searching for a whisper in a hurricane. The detectives, undeterred, started to follow every lead, chase every hint, and scrutinize every piece of evidence, no matter how insignificant it may have seemed. There was a sense of urgency, a need to bring justice swiftly and restore the shaken faith of the public. The investigation was like a complex puzzle, with each clue being a piece that needed to fit perfectly. They pored over countless hours of surveillance footage, interviewed potential witnesses, and followed up on tips from the public. Every lead was a potential breakthrough, every dead end a setback, but the resolve of the investigators remained unshaken. The pressure from the public was palpable. The audacity of the crime had sent a wave of unease through the city, yet the investigators were not deterred. They knew that the path to justice was often long and winding. Their determination was their guiding light, a beacon that pushed them forward even in the face of adversity. But as the days turned into weeks, the leads started to dwindle. The once hot trail began to grow cold. The clues that once seemed promising now led to dead ends. The city waited with bated breath, the public's impatience growing with each passing day. Yet the investigators pressed on, knowing that in their line of work, patience was as crucial as determination. They knew that the smallest detail could turn the tide, that the most insignificant piece of information could crack the case wide open. They were not just hunting for culprits, they were hunting for justice. As days turned into weeks, the case seemed to be growing cold, but the investigators knew better. In their world, a cold case was merely a mystery waiting to be solved. Just when all hope seemed lost, a breakthrough breathed new life into the case. The investigators had been pounding the pavement, turning over every stone, and finally, their efforts paid off. A tip from a local resident led them to a stash of stolen cash, hidden away in a nondescript apartment building in Queens. The money was dusted for prints, and the results were a match for a pair of small-time crooks with a history of petty theft. The city breathed a collective sigh of relief as the culprits were apprehended. The news of the arrest spread like wildfire, igniting a sense of triumph and closure among the residents. The fast food employees who had been living in fear could finally go back to their routines, knowing that the men who had turned their lives upside down were behind bars. The trial was swift. The evidence was overwhelming, and the defense was weak. The jury, moved by the testimony of the traumatized employees, found the culprits guilty on all counts. The judge, in his final verdict, expressed his disdain for the criminals' audacity and lack of remorse. He handed down a sentence fitting the severity of the crime, a clear message that New York City would not tolerate such brazen acts of lawlessness. In the aftermath of the trial, the city started to heal. The Burger King that had been the scene of the crime became a symbol of resilience. It reopened its doors, serving the community with renewed vigor, its employees standing a little taller, a little prouder. The story of the New York Burger King heist became a part of the city's lore, a tale of crime and justice, of fear and courage. It served as a reminder that even in the face of adversity, the city and its people would always rise stronger and more determined. In the end, justice prevailed, leaving a mark not only on the city but on the fast food culture that would not